So, so this is where we got into. Okay, so list. Now, when we talk about a list simply means a list. Let's take. I believe you already know a list. When I talk about a list, you know about a list of students, right? Right. So when I talk about a list of students, me you are supposed to mention me the names of the students, right? Right. Hello. Okay. 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 So in programming, when we talk about a list, let's use Pictoblox here for instance. So if I'm going to use a list, I can have a list like this is the name, let's say student list. Okay. So within the list, we use this sign for a list. This is what we use for a list. Okay. So when I print this one out, this one will give me empty list. Let's say let's print student. Okay, so let's run this program and see. You see that we have empty list. Let's check the type of the list. Let's check the type of this one is a variable. So let's check the type of variable here. So I'll put into what type function. Okay, and then run the code again. And then you see that oh Pictoblock, Pictoblock cannot do that. Okay, so let's go to let's come here. Let me open a new one and save it as list. Okay, so I'll paste the code here. So once I run this code from here, you see that it will tell me a list. Can you see that? Can you see the types of data is what? List. Okay, so this is a list. So I can now give the student inside. So let's say my student that I have for this class, I can put your name today. I can have so inside is a string, so I can have Brian. I can have so if this is the list that I'm having. The moment I run this, you see what will come. This is a list, right? So I have this list here. This is what we call list. So you see that they are in these codes. It tells you that this is a list. Maybe I want to print the name of each student. So if I want to print the name of each student, what I will do is I can put them into a for loop as we let's say say students. Already you already know. So student in what? In student list. So student in student list like this. Okay. Okay. And then I will print my column uh, and say print students. So this one is going to give me individual name. Okay, so once I run this one, I'll have individual name printed out. So this is very, very simple. Okay, so this is what we call list. Okay, so now here I'm just going to introduce you to the list proper. So here we learn what is list, the manipulating a list, how to manipulate a list like what I just did, and activities, creating a friend list. Okay, so like what I just did. So learning outcome at the end of this lesson, you understand the concept of mutable sequence type in Python. Okay, appreciate the use of a list to conveniently store a large amount of data in memory. Okay, and the next one, create, access, and manipulate list objects. Okay, the fourth one, use various functions and methods to work with a list. Okay, so that is what we have here. Okay, so you can go into details and look at the basics of list. Okay, so you look at basics of list. Example, I've already shown. So we say that like a string, a list also is a sequence data type. So a list is a sequence data type. Like when you talk about sequence, is step by step, it follow a particular pattern or order. Okay, so it is an order set of value. Okay, that's what we mean. Like is the thing is in what, in sequence. Sequence means that there is an order. So it is an order what set of value enclosed in what, a square bracket. That is what it means. It enclosed in what, a square bracket. Like this is what I just did for you. Okay, this one is an order, is a sequence. Okay, set of what, list enclosed in what, square bracket, and that is what, a list. Okay, that is a list. So once you have that, it means that you have what, a list. Okay, so values in the list can be modified. Modify means that it is what, mutable. When you say something is mutable, means that it can be changed. Okay, it can be changed. So a list is a mutable. You can modify the list item, you can change the list item as it is what, set of what, values. Okay, as it is what, a set of what, values. We can also use the index in square brackets to identify a value belonging to it. Okay, so we can also use indexing to get the each list item where the list items are. Like here, we know that. So if I want to get the index of this, here will be index what, 0, right? So instead of me printing from using this one, I can also print it using this. So here I can print this one and see square bracket in front, and I'll put index what, 0, index 0. So index 0 will give me the first name here. So once I run this one, you see that I have the first name. If I want to print this one too, I can just change this one to what, 1, and then I'll run this and I'll get this. Okay, the same as you have the a string, you can. So this one is a sequence. So anytime somebody tells something is in sequence, you know it's in orderly manner. It follow a certain pattern that you can actually follow or predict. Okay, so that's what we are talking about here. So these are examples. So we have L1 is a list of what? This one, the type of a list is what? Is an integer list. Okay, so you can see the elements inside this list is what? 4 integer elements. And then here we have we have country. Like here, this is a list of 3 elements. Then we have what? Delhi, China, and Mumbai. These are countries list in India. This is an empty list like the one I just printed for you to see. It's an empty list, that is a list with no elements. And then I can have this. This one is a string, an integer, an integer. So list with different data types. So a list can have a different data type. So it's having integer, it's having a string, it's having an integer here. It can also have a float, okay, a floating value there. So that is a list. And here is L5 is a list. This is an integer, and this is a list. So a list within a list. As you can see here, this a list containing another list is also known as nested list. So this is what a nested list. So element of a list, what are we looking at for accessing an element of a list? So when talking about element of a list, we are talking about the items within the list. So these are the elements of a list. So now accessing an element of the list, how do we access, how can I have access to this information? So you can have access to it by using the index like what I showed you here. So we can use the indexing to get, so index variable name, okay. So index variable name index. So you pick your variable name and then the index that will give you the item, each individual what item or element, okay, like what I showed you here. So this one is what a variable name. You can see a variable name and what index. That's what we mean. A variable name index. So a variable name contains the list. So if I want to get each element inside, I'll put it in what the index. Then it will print it for me. Do you understand? Okay, so let's go further. Here also it will provide the value at what? Index plus one. Okay, so in the list, index plus one means that you know that index start from what? Index start from what? Zero, right? When you are talking about the indexing, it start from zero. But this time when we are reading it, we can also read it maybe index plus one in the list. So index here has to be an integer value which can be positive or negative. Okay, so index can be positive or negative. That's what it means. So the positive value of an index means counting from the beginning of the list, okay, and a negative value means counting backwards from the end of the list, which I believe you really understand. We've done some, so you know what it means. So now here, these are the elements of a list. So now if I start from zero size, so this one will print me the first one. If I start from one, this one will give me one plus one, the size here. So this one is going to give me the second one, okay. And then here will be, because we are minusing here, so the assumption here is if you are subtracting the size minus the size, okay, so zero minus the size is still the same, okay. Then the size here, this one will reduce here, so one here, one plus the minus the size, that's what it means. So it's just going to reduce that for us. That's what it means here. So plus two, which will going to give us the third one, okay. So all that you need to know is, I don't want you to confuse yourself with these ones, okay, but all that I want you to know is when we are starting a list, we start from the beginning, and the beginning start from what? Zero. That is the index. So index start from zero. And the last one, it move with what? A negative figure of that number that is there. So that is simple. So I believe with that one, we really understand So we can check this list here, and when we print 2, which one are we getting? Right? Okay, when we print we get what? 3. Okay. Here, the third element of the list accessing using index value 2 is 3. Okay. And then you have here, when you have this one, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I want to access now, when we do this thing, it means that we are updating the value here. So when I say index 2, we know index 2 is 3, right? Index 2 is 3. So when I assign another value to index 2, it's going to update the value here, 3. That's what it means. So let's try this code in Pictoblox. So once I have something like this and run this, okay, this one is going to replace the 3. So now you can see that yes, 1, 2, 3, but now is what 6, because the position of 3 is what index what 2. So now I'm assigning a different data to that position, okay, which will replace what is already here. Do you understand? Do you understand? Okay, so this is how you update element in a list. So to update element in a list, to update elements in a list, okay, we will pick the index of that element. So the index of that element is 2. So you put it inside the variable name, the square bracket, then you put it. So now here, I'm assigning a new value to this position, which will update this. That's what it means. Okay. So now you can see that we have here, and we can update that. And then creating a list. To create a list, this is how you create a list. So you have your elements first, in your square bracket will come first, and then you put in your element inside, and now you are done. You've created a list. And here I can also copy a list to another list. So this code means that I'm copying another list. So you remember this sign, the column, when we were using the string. I told you this one, when you use it just copy from both ends. Okay, so it will copy everything here to 2. So when I print 2, I'll receive the same information here. Let's try. So if I come here and I'll update this line, let's print this. So once I print this, I run this code, you see that it will give me this. So you see that I'm having what 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, which means that this has been one has been copying to what 2. That's what it means. I can also change it with what 0. Okay, if I do 0, because you know that the index starting from 0, and then here is 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. So when I do 4, it will also mean the same thing. So I'm copying from 0 to what 4 element. That is which one, when I run it, it will also mean the same thing. Okay, it means the same thing. So that's what it means. So if I print L1, I can print L1. L1 will give me the same. So the information at L1 has been copied to L2. That is what it means. So copy L1 info to L2. So that's what it means. That's what that line means. Okay, so this one means that. So this one is the same as this. it is same as this. So once I run this code, you see that it will work like that. Okay. So by now, I believe you guys, you've gotten everything. You really understand everything that we are doing here, right? You understand? Okay, so this line to mean the same thing. So now I want to copy like the same thing we did with the string. So the element is for 0, 1, 2, 3. So if I do this from 0 to 2, I will get what? The L3 will give me 1 to 2. So it will copy from 1 to 2 and stop at 3. So inside here I'll get 1, 2. So that's what we get here. And then we have the list comprehension. Okay, so list comprehension. Let's see what a list comprehension means. Okay, so now we can generate a list L4. To generate a list means that I have L4 and then I can generate this one when I put 5 here, it's going to generate item for me like 1 to 5. That's what me using the range function. Okay, so it's going to generate this item for me. So if I come to Pictoblox and then I'll paste this one here. Once you run this code, you will see that it's going to give you from 0 range this. Okay, that's what Pictoblox is giving you 0 to 5, 0 to 5. Okay, 0 to 5 um range. Okay, because that's the range that is going to give you 0 to 5. Okay, now this one tells you that we print this and then it's going to give us something like this. L4 is going to give us something like this. Sometimes Pictoblox, I don't know why it behaves like that. Let me come to let's come to here. Okay, so the same code, let's run it here. Okay, so now you can see here the ranges that this one is giving us is what? 0 to what? Uh, 5, because that is the range. So but if I want to print individual item here, if I want to print individual item, I can use the for loop to print everything here, what is inside here. So I can come here, instead of me printing this one, I can use the for loop to print. But then we don't want to do that. We are using what we call list comprehension. So in the list comprehension, we have here for s in range 10, for s in range 10. So this one is going to give us in one line for s in range 10. So if I print this one, it's going to give me the line. That is the list comprehension. So inside your list, you are just generating everything in one line. Okay, I just want to generate everything in one line. So if I come here and then this is the whole thing. Okay, so I'm saying that let me clear this part. Okay, and then maintain here so that you understand. So this part means that for s in range 10. Okay, so it's going to, sorry, invalid, invalid x. Okay, let's let me come. Okay. So now let me explain this one to you. Let me explain this one to you. So this is how this program works. Now, x value here, first thing is going to check. Now the return is going to give us Hello. Can you see my screen? Hello. 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 I hope you can see my screen. Okay. Okay. So let's continue. Okay, so this is what I'm saying here. In this line, we want to do for s in range 10. Range 10 is going to generate numbers like 1. Range 10, when you say range 10, it will generate numbers like 1. So when I look range 10, I'll get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so this is what I'll get from here. Okay, now what that we are doing here, list comprehension means that within the same line inside the list, this is the list, inside that, when I get the value of this one, I should square it. I should square it. So this one means that this one will mean that s times s, this line, this one means that s star star 2 means that s times x. That's what it means. That's what it means, this line. So it means that 1 times 1 will give me what? 2. 2 times 2 will give me what? 4. 3 times 3 will give me what? 3 times 3 will give me what? So when you run the code, you will see that this is how it will come. Okay, so now we have this because the range will start from 0. So sorry, I have my 0 there. So 0 times 0 is 0, 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 will give us what? 4. That's how this line is. And then you can do square. So s squared, this is how you write s squared in Python. Star star 2 is s squared. So this one also means the same. It also means the same. You can see that. So instead of me doing this, so it means that when you look for x with 10, whatever you get, square the value of x in the same line. That is what we call a list comprehension. So this is what we call list comprehension. Okay, so this is what we call list comprehension. Comprehension means that in the same line, you are writing all the code in one line. So you can see that all this one, before we can use the for loop to get this. If we are going to use, assuming with this, I will start with for loop. I will write it like this. For s in range, for s in this same thing here, I can write it in this line. This is not a list comprehension. Okay, if I write this one in this way, I can do something like this. For s in range 10, okay, and I will come here. See how long this line will be. First thing is you have to declare your list. So to get this code that you see here in one line, to get the same thing, I have to declare my L. Okay, so I will say my list. Okay, so I will say my list, and then I will assign it to empty list like this. Okay, Then when I get here, I'll come here, and then now I've gotten my s, so I'll say s square. Okay, because you've gotten your s, so s square. So to get the s square, I will now have to go to my this value and say list list dot append. You don't know this, don't worry about this, but I'll just show you something, some code that to allow me, sorry, to write. So list.append s square. Okay, so when I run this program like this, and then I'll come here and say print list. Okay, so you see that I've gotten the same thing. Okay, I've gotten the same thing like what you use this one to do. So let me uncomment this your line. This is your code. This one is the list comprehension. So list comprehension in two line, what you have, I also have written it in this word, 1 2 3 4. So this is the list comprehension, doing all this one in one line. Okay, it's very simple. So that's what we call list comprehension. So within the whole same list, you can write the same code. That will make your code efficient and very small. Okay, so in this, I believe you really understand what a list comprehension means. So writing in one line, something that you can use a multiple line to write. Okay, so that is a list comprehension that we actually did. So you can see here, this is a list. Another way is you can also get your list. This one also means list. Okay, so when I do something like this, this is the inbuilt list. Okay, so when I have something like maybe m2, let's say m assigned to list. So this is also a list. So if I print m, it's going to give me empty list. Print m, also going to give me empty list. Okay, so this is, sorry, did I put it in? Oh, sorry, I place it in indent. So it should come outside the indent. Okay, it should come outside the indent. So when I run this one here, you can see that it's an empty list. Okay, it's an empty list. So that is what we are talking about here. Please, do you understand what we've done so far? Hello, hello. I hope you understand, right? Hello, hello. Yeah, do you understand the list? Do you understand what I'm doing now? Okay, okay. So, okay. So we are almost done. Hello, hello. We are done for. So now the next thing is for you to complete your. So we've done the basics of a list. Okay. Okay, manipulating a list. So, like the list slicing, all that we did is the same thing. Okay, so we've gone through traversing a list. Okay, so you can traverse a list. These are the index, and then you put them into this is the counter. This is your list. This is your counter. Then you put your counter less than 5. Okay, then you print index. Okay, so this one you print index of this, and then you increment your index. So this one is going to print the items in the list. Okay, do you understand? So it will print 1 1 2. Everything is being printed out. Okay, so if I copy this one out and then I paste here into this code, okay, what it means that it's going to print individual item for me. That's what it means here. Okay, so all that you've seen is index is what? 0. We starting the counter is 0. This is your list. You want to print individual item here. So once I know that while index is less than 5, so it starts from here 0. Then if it's true, it will print the index, which is this, to print it. So it's going to print the first one. Then it come to the counter, the change, so increment. So now here, when it gets here 0 plus 1, so the next time it gets here is going to be what? 1. Then it will print the next one. It will go like that as you are seeing it here. So that's how it works. This one too is the same thing for using the for loop. And then we can also, so we can use the while loop to print individual list as you see here. And we can also use the for loop to do the same thing. So if I'm going to use the for loop, I will say for I in length. Okay, and the length contain the L contain bit. So what the print I means that when it move attribute, it print one by one inside the I for me. So you can see this is all the same. And the list dot append, that's what I just did for you. List dot append means that I can add a list like 50 to this. So list dot append 50. Append 50 mean add 50 to the end. That's what it means. So you realize that the what I just did here, what I did here, what I did here, I just append. You can see what I did here. The program I did here, I just append this so that I'll add everything here to the empty list here, and I just printed it down there. So that's what you've seen here. Okay, that's what you've seen here. So list to append means that you are adding a new element to the list. So l dot append, I'm adding a new element to the list. Okay, so you can append a is another list. So adding a list to another list, so all these elements will go at the end there. So that's how the whole thing means. And you can also delete from a list. So delete, we can use the pop function to remove, to pop remove from the back. So if I say pop 2, so pop 2 is going to pop 2. When I print L, it's just going to delete that one. So you can see here is that it take from the index. When you put the index there, it's going to pick the index. Okay, so it's going to pick these 2. This one means the index. And when you don't add anything here, it's just going to pick from the last one. That's what it means with the pop. And then you can also use the remove. So add dot remove. I'm not projects. Oh, uh, okay, sorry. Okay. So can you see my screen? Hello. Okay. So this what where we've gotten to is here. So we are talking about manipulating the list. Okay, so how to manipulate a list? As I told you here, a list can be manipulated by adding either we've done most of them. Okay, so here slicing, you can change some of the information there, traversing the list. Like here, as you see here, I want to print individual item. That's traversing a list, print individuals. So I can either use the while loop or the for. So if I'm using the while loop, first need to get my uh, counter. Okay, so this is my counter. I'm starting from 0 and I know the elements here they are of 5. So I can say in while index, and index is what this. So while 0 is less than 5, print L, then I'll put what index. So index here is 0. So 0 is going to give me the first item. And then I'll add my increment to it. So down there, 0 plus 1 will give me 1. So when it gets here, now the index will be 1. And then it will print to all the item here be printed out. Okay. And then stop. So that's and then you can also use the for loop as you already know. So for I in length, okay, the L is this. So when I in this is going to print I inside that, so you also print individual item for me, as you can see. And then we can also add another element to the list. So to add another element to the list, we use the method. Append method. So here I will say here m dot append 50. So I'm adding 50 to the end. That's what when you print, 50 will be added to the end of your list. Okay, so that is what we have there. So when you print there, you see the 50 had been added to the end of the list. Okay, so that is the append. Okay, and then we can also use the update array element. So this one is when you have this, and then like here, if you know that this first one is for the two elements. So I here, the one here is for what? 0 1 this. So we want to update this, and the 2 will be for 3. So I'm adding a list of 2 elements like this and this. So when I do it, you see that these two will be what? Updated. Okay, that's what we just did. So you've seen that, and you can also delete. So if we are going to delete, we use the pop method here to remove element from specific index. It means that we have to specify the index. So index 2 0 1 2 is this. So when I say pop n dot pop index 2 is going to remove 3. So when you print it, you see that 3 is not there. So that's where we use the pop there, and you can still remove 4. Remove 2 can also remove the value. Here is not index. You just remove the item. So we use the remove to remove the item itself, and we use the pop to remove the item from the index. Okay, so that's what we've learned so far. Okay, I believe you understand them, right? Hello, hello, hello. Are you here with me? Hello. Yeah. I hope you understand everything, right? Or we went off. Okay, so in nutshell, this is what we've done. Okay, so we use the remove to remove item from a list. So here we are removing this item. So use the remove to remove this item. We use pop method here to remove index from specific index. So we have to specify the index here. So it will remove from index 2. Index 2 is this. So it's going to remove. Oh, my screen went back again. Wow. Okay. I hope you can see my screen. Hello. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. Okay, so we got here, we are saying to update a list. Okay, so I think when I explain here, you got it right. You got that to this point, right? Hello. Okay, okay. So now to append means that to add another item to a list. Okay, so here is printing individual item from the list. So you can either use the for loop or the while loop to do that. And then here is appending, adding element to a list. So use the list dot append, then we are adding 50. So when you append, it will be added to the last after the last element. So you can see here 50 has been added, and then you print it out. And updating elements, so you can also update array. So array is like this. So this is a group of this. So you know that when we have something like add this, you just read from index 1 to index 2. Okay, and then you update here one go here, this one go here, so we can see that this is how it has been updated. And you can use the pop to also remove, you use the pop to remove or delete an item. So when you specify the index inside the pop, it will remove. So here is pop index 2, index 2 is 0 1 2, so it's going to remove 3 from the list. Okay, and then when you don't specify any index in it, it remove the last item. Okay, so when there's no indexing inside the pop, it remove the last item, like you see that 5 is gone. And we can also use remove method here to remove what an item. So here is you have to state the element. So you can see 4 is the element has been stated. When you see that 4 is gone. So this is what we've done so far. I believe we really understand everything and know how to also manipulate a list, right? Hello. Okay, okay, that's good. That's good. So we can confidently say we are done. So add a list, add a friend, delete a friend with a list. So we can have something like this, letting that we can add it to Pictoblox like here. Delete a list with a friend, add a list, we define a function called add a friend. Okay, and then you input enter a friend's name, so you ask them to enter the friend name to a list. Okay, and then you use this one to read the answer, which one I believe you really understand this line. So here is deleting, this one is you're going to delete, okay, a list. Okay, so we use remove from this, going to remove from item. Okay, and here is where we are reading the list. So we can use the while to read. So while one, so it's going to allow us to enter a different command. Enter your command here, and then you press a key. Okay, you press a key A D S. So when you press any key, going if key dot press A, then you add a friend. If D dot press D, it means that delete. Okay, so we are using key press function here. And then when you do S, it means that say friend. Okay, so complete code. Okay, so when we do that, we are done with the program. So this is how the whole program will go. Let's go to Pictoblox, create our new file. Okay, and then add this code. This is what that we've done so far. Let's save mine as friend. Okay, I've saved as friend. Let's run this code. You see, he has a command here. Enter your command. Okay, so we know that enter your command as it come there, and then you enter your command which the program will give to us to enter our command. So as you can see here, we have the friends, add friends, then this one will give us our friends here, and then here why to say something, enter your command. So what our command are you saying? It's saying that when you press A, it means that enter. So I press A on my keyboard, then it will ask me to enter my friend. So yes, enter your friend's name. So I'll put in Kingsley. Okay, enter. So here is enter your command. So what command again do you want to do? So you see that it will come to the first one. Here is what I'll press on X to say something. So I want X. So your friend is Kingsley. Then it asks me to enter my friend here. And this time I will do delete. Delete what? Kingsley. So it's gone. Okay, so it's very nice. You can try your hands on and then see how this program is. Once you are done, we just upload our code. So I'll go here and then add friend to my program, friend. So I just click on friend and then add a friend. So we click on upload to upload the friend. Okay, so I've done the upload here. Complete. Okay. So far we are through. We've done all these parts. We've done everything here. Everything is working well. I've explained all this one to you. Okay, so we move on to the conclusion part. So in conclusion, we have learned this. So in this lesson, we'll be able to learn about the basic of list. We also created a project using a list, which we've done that. We've also learned the following: understanding the concept of a mutable sequence types in Python, appreciate the use of a list to conveniently store a large amount of data in memory, create, access, manipulate objects using various functions and methods to work with a list. Okay, so we've done a lot, right? What's next? In the next, we are going to make Py game. We're going to make game in Python, which is something that's going to be your project. Okay, so let's finish with the questions. Let's solve this, and then once we are done with this, we can leave and then you work on the lesson 11 and 12 as your project. Work on the detail, okay, and then you do your custom project. Okay, you create your own game and then you do your custom project for me. Okay, so let's see. Question 1: which of the following is true. Okay, so if I have L, 1, 2, this, which of the following is true? Which of the following is true? Hello? When you print this, which of the following is true? Hello? Hello? Yeah. So we are solving this question here. The question that was given, we have a list, and the list is having 1, 2, and we have another list within. Okay, okay, and then 3. Then he say which of the following is true? Print L 2. So L2 0, 1, 2. So when we print L2 and then we have minus 1, you know that minus 1 is this, the last one. So what are we getting? What are we getting? Is what? 6 or 7, 8, or is 8 that will come out, or is going to be what? 6, 7, 8, okay, or is going to be 6, 7, 8. Which one is true? Which one is true? When you have this, which one? Minus L2, minus L2, 2. Will it give us this? Check. Is the first one correct? Okay. What is the second one? L3. Will L3 give us this? 0, 1. Is it true? Is L3 this? Is it true? Hello? Is it true? Okay. Now, this one, is it true? L2, when we print L2, this is L1, L2. Okay, 0, 1, 2. Oh, okay, so here will be 0, 1, 2, 3. So, is this one correct? Are you sure it's correct? Hello? Hello? Oh, let's do it fast. Is it correct? Is this one correct? What about this? What is L3? What is L3? Here is what? Index what? This index what? Index what? A. Is index start from 1? The first one is index what? Index 0. Okay. So index 0, index 1. So this is index 2. Index 3 will be this. Have you forgotten? Hmm? So, so is this one correct? Is it correct? Okay. What about this? L2 is starting from back, negative L2, starting from back, and then you are printing 2 again. So 0, negative 1, negative 2 is this. Then when we print from here, negative 1, 2. So is this one correct? Are you sure? Hmm. Yes. Then this one, -2. Is this correct? Is it correct? Okay. Is -2 correct? So if you have -1, -1, -2, are you going to get these ones? Okay, let me come in. So that is it, right? So let's move on to the next question. Which of the question 2 is this? Which of the following statements is true? Print L2 column. Is it true? L2 column. Is it true? Is it true? No. Okay. What about this? L2 what is true? What about this? Print L is true. Okay. Then here, this question, this is a list L 1, 2, 3, high 5. Which of the following is true? Print L column 2 is 1, 5. Then print L 2, 0 is H. Mhm. Which of them is true? The third one. Okay, that's all. Okay, so let me go and release you guys. I did a video, okay, so I'm able to record some. So what I'll do is maybe I'll put it on. You got 6 out of 8. Okay, so that is it. So we are done for the whole boot camp. I really enjoy yourself, right? Hello. Okay, so like I said, you don't need to stop. Okay, keep the fire burning. So you have a lot of this thing to practice. I've also shown you another where area where you can practice. Okay, so make sure you go there and see how you can practice them. Okay, don't stop. The title I give you this area, you go there. You have your turning there with you. So make sure you go there and do more practice. Okay. Now this session I did record it, so I will make the video available to you guys so you can uh, watch over and over again. If you something that you are not getting, you can get it out. Okay, so you need to work this out for me. I'm expecting you to complete your project in Maze. So now that you understand everything, complete your project in Maze and then you do your capstone project. Okay, you do your capstone project for me. Okay, I'll call you and check on you and then I'll let you know when I will be needing my this one. You need to complete it within this week for me, the maze, and then you start with your project. Okay, so by Friday you should complete lesson 11 for me. Okay, okay, okay. So thank you very much for your time. See you next time. Bye bye.